So we watched Strawberry Panic episodes 1, 18, and 26. We all had a great time.
Did you almost forget what episodes we just watched?
Yes, I almost forgot what episodes. There's a lot of them.
To be fair, it was a long time ago. A lot of information has passed through our heads since then.
Yeah.
A lot
to
of
the point
memes
where
have been
I
shared.
was like, to the point where like as like Spooky was saying, like we watched Strawberry Panic, and I was like, okay, what happened in the episodes? I was like, oh god, yeah, that's right, that's what happened.
Yeah, we watched a
I'd
classic
forgotten.
Lesbian show, so
Lebebsiabs.
now we can talk about the Lebebsiabs.
Finally, we can talk about Lesbos.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
Lebanon.
Let's get to it,
Yeah.
dear.
Oh. Okay. Anime intro, and then we see our protagonist, and she's like, "When did it start? Trees losing their leaves." And then another anime protagonist has come to the school, and she's going to be named transfer student. And she's gonna be late.
I feel like you've dove into like halfway through a paragraph, because the mention of a school doesn't come in until you just said, and then another girl shows up who's also going to the school, by the way. It's like, you never mentioned a school to begin with, dear.
Yeah, it's fine.
Hey.
Listen, we have a lot to get through. A lot of lesbian stuff to get through. All the girls have stick legs. They're also pretty as hell. Yes, but then she is running really fast to anime school, and then she runs so fast that she runs really hard down a hill and almost falls in some water.
She breaks the matrix.
She made it to church school, but then instead she got lost. So, anime protag, who is white-haired protagonist, says hi and scares her. And
Wait, what?
What?
No, wait.
Anime protagonist is white-haired girl.
What?
Wait, so... no?
Wait.
Our protagonist isn't the white-haired girl.
I get that. This is literally how I wrote my notes.
Gotcha.
Your notes are wrong.
Well, fuck you! This is literally anime protagonist and transfer student. That's literally just how I name them.
Oh, is it because you called them all... Oh, okay. Okay, so when you mean she's the anime protagonist, you don't mean she's the actual protagonist of this story. You mean she is the one that... I got it now. I understand. I'm not confused. Keep going.
Transfer student thinks she's really pretty. They touch hands for a minute, and she's like, "Oh!" And then transfer student's like, "Oh, I'm gay." And then the white-haired girl leans in, kisses her on the forehead, and then it was so gay that she winds up in an infirmary, and she's like, "Hi, I'm blue hair protagonist, and we share the same room in class together, and you collapsed apparently from being so tired and so gay. And I watched you sleep for so long, you were really cute, and I didn't want to do anything. We're probably gonna fuck later, don't worry about that. First, I'm going to lock the door and tie you up. Actually, scratch that, I'm not gonna tie you up, I'm measuring you for your uniform. And then we're gonna head back to our room, and you're gonna question why you measured all the parts of me that didn't matter because you were only doing this for my uniform and you only needed like one measurement." And blue-haired girl's like, "I wanted to write down all of your information as treasure." And she like snuggles the book, and it's really weird. Our main character, transfer student, is here all alone because her parents are overseas, and her aunt, I think, worked at the school so she could get her in really easily. Like, that's the whole hook.
Oh, is that how she got in the school?
I think so. And then look at all these different schools that are here, which is why there's so many different uniforms. Also, we have a 6 p.m. curfew that you must follow, no matter what. Blue hair.
And then she immediately doesn't follow it.
Yeah, is pulled away, and transfer student wanders off on her own to find the dorm. She spots white-haired protagonist, goes, "Wait!" But then she instantly disappears with a piano sting, and now she's late for curfew. So...
Can I just note real quick what I like, the way the piano sting, I feel like we need to get across how fucking funny it was, Because it's the kind of piano sting where it's like, you have like a video up on a presentation or something, and someone's playing a piano along with it, like they're doing live sort of accompaniment to like play the suspenseful music. So it's like a person with a piano is watching it and they're recording. They're like, da, 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 da. She's chasing her through the woods. She's gonna get her. She's not here. Da, 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 da. Da, da. It was fucking hilarious. It was like a fucking improv fucking performance.
Blue-haired girl makes it home, but transfer student isn't there? That's weird. And they are both running now from, like, blue-haired girl's at the dorm. She's like, please hurry, the gate's closing, and transfer student doesn't make it in time. So she's not allowed back in. She
just climbed that gate, man.
She really could have.
Makes me so mad.
They're like, you're not allowed back in unless you ask the head sister, who's on her way right now, and also a bitch. So she punishes the transfer student, because it's pretty much like a Catholic school. Then a darker blue-haired student, council girl, shows up and goes, I'm sorry that she did this. Please forgive her. And the sister's like, yeah, sure. Then all of them walk back down to the dorms, talk about how she's nervous around the darker blue-haired girl, and then they're like, you'll be so nervous around the other girl who's like the president of our presidents. And then leads all the girls to the cafeteria to get dinner, where everyone is talking about the transfer student. Then they parade her in front of everyone, and all these characters that we're not gonna learn about it in this series or in this Discord call ever. Then she introduces herself to someone who winds up being the wrong girl, because she's like, you're the head toilet, thank you, yeah, woohoo. And then white-haired protagonist comes up and goes, hey, I just saw you, like, before. And she's like, wow, how dare you be inappropriate in front of the very important toilet. And she's like, what? And she, like, literally sweeps her off her feet and moves in for a kiss and everything. And then darker blue-haired girl goes, stop, this is no time for that. And so she leaves. And then everyone says a prayer and start to eat, showing transfer student that white-hair protag girl is actually the important toilet. And then back at home, they're all unpacking and getting ready from dinner. And then they all reminisce about being gay while getting ready in their bedroom. And that was the episode. That was the first episode.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That sure is the first episode, huh?
Yeah.
Hey, Spicky, do you want to talk about how much you love this?
I guess I should ask the what do you think I think of the show question, huh?
Probably.
Okay. You can go first, dear.
Probably like a 6, I'm thinking, maybe, just because, like, you did talk a lot about, like, being tiny baby spooky and just being like, oh, I wish I could kiss girls. And I think it was something that, like, you sort of associate with your childhood, and it probably has a special place for you, but it's also not great.
Okay.
I agree, but I think I'm tossing up whether to say a 5 or a 7, though, because I don't know if because, like, it could go either way. It could be, like, depending on how much weight Spooky puts on it, because, like, it is a very... So, first up foremost, before I start shitting on this, I absolutely, watching it, completely get it, and completely understand its significance and how formative it is, not just for individual people, but as sort of as its own sort of microcosm of a genre of sort of a show that was very clearly not written for the male gaze per se, or it's not derivative of other things. It's not made with ulterior intentions. It's very clearly made because they were like, no, this is very specifically, we want to have a show. I'm not going to say tell a story. We're going to have a show where it's basically just, here's all these potential lesbian couples, and all these individual things, here's all this small drama that happens between them and small little story moments. Like, it's not about any big, like, oh, the new girl in school and everyone's like hating her, and then there's a secret society and actually they're a cult and they're taking over. Like, it's not, it's very clearly about the romance and about sort of the experience of you're discovering your own sexuality with regards to romantic interest, and also, you know, the different ways people process it. In saying that, 26 episodes is way too long. Just by the 3 episodes we've watched, this anime drags.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's very slow paced.
It could have, if it was 6 or 8 episodes instead of 26, I would fucking love this, because it would be absolutely perfect, because they would be forced to cut down nearly everything that is pointless or like goes on for too long. It would have been, and like, I'm not saying it needs to be fast paced, because it doesn't have to be. Like, not every romance thing needs to be fast paced, but it got to a point where I was like writing notes and it's like nothing's happened. Like, they're talking about something that is so small and inconsequential that, like, yeah, you could mention it, but there's no point because it doesn't affect anything at the end of the day. Like, the change is so minimal by the end of the episode. Like, you'll be lucky to have anything happen. I think I'm gonna go with Spooky thinks it's I'm gonna go with a 6 as well. Actually, I think the exact same as Dia. Like, it is very, it's sort of, you recognize its significance. It has personal significance with you, but it also has its problems. I would say it's probably not even like in terms of like, oh, is it in your top 20 or top 50? I don't think it's anywhere near there, because I don't think you think of it in terms of like best or worst anime. It's like separate from that entire list in your head. It's like, it doesn't matter whether it's good or bad to you because of its significance to you. Like, that's kind of how I feel. That when I think about it.
Makes sense. I checked my anime list to see what I had given it, because I had scored it a while ago on it. And a while ago I gave it a 7. Now I would probably give it a 6. I'd probably give you both are probably right with that. With 6. Yeah. I'll talk more on my feelings after we get done with the summaries. But
summary.
Yeah, 6 is what I would give it now.
Okay, so the next episode we watched, we skipped pretty far ahead, episode 18, and I'll be honest, at a certain point, it wasn't episode 18, thankfully. Thank God I'm describing episode 18, because it's literally just 2 characters. Episode 26, there was a point where I struggled to take notes, because it was like, I don't know who this character is, and I don't know how to describe them, but also it's like
I was just going by like
writing
hair
notes
color
about it,
and
because they don't matter.
I was literally just going by hair color and haircut.
Well,
they don't matter. Well, they don't matter for us because of how we did the podcast.
Because
you should specify that.
Yeah,
there was a very.
I'll specify a little bit more when we get to like the end, because like I 100% agree with what you're saying about it, Spooky, and like I'll mention it briefly now. The way it's set up with like how I said of it's about these lesbians, this college of lesbians, traversing relationships and sort of unrequited love and you know, love triangles, etc. It's set up in a way, and Spooky verified it for us, that it's like it's not every episode is like, here's what this couple's up to, here's what this couple's up to, here's what this couple's up to. It's like, okay, this episode is about this person and their relationship with this person. So it's like, it's the kind of series where it's like, if you watch it and you only like one couple, or you're only like a few, you can just take the episodes you want and watch the majority of their entire thing. Because again, most episodes don't have anything really happen in it. But like they're basically the same at the beginning than they were at the end. There's maybe something small that happens, but I feel like it's by design, so you can just pick out any episode of a specific person and follow their journey through it, so you don't have to watch all the ones that you don't like or you don't have any interest in.
Yeah, it was definitely set up for like shipping, right? Like
yeah, like it
100%.
like it's not the kind where it's like, oh, in episode 1 there's all these characters that you get introduced, and then in the final episode you're like, oh, okay, so I've been following like the 3 episodes we follow the red-haired girl who's the protagonist and the white-haired girl who is the toilet and is the one that Deer's calling the protagonist white-haired girl.
We should clarify really quick what the fuck we mean when we say the toilet.
Nope.
Nah.
Nope. We're not clarifying it.
No, go ahead, Spooky.
Yeah, I don't know how to say the word. It's like Etoile. It's like a French word, but it basically is like
Étoilé?
Ettore, yeah, something like that. I don't fucking know. I took French in college, couldn't tell you a fucking thing. But anyway,
how'd you spell it?
Etoile, yeah.
It literally just means star.
Yeah, it means star. They say that in the show.
Like a Christmas tree
But
star.
yeah, so basically on this campus there's 3 separate schools, and there's the student council president for each, and then there's there's a student, two typically. In this story there's 1.
We'll get to that.
But yeah, they are basically like picked to oversee everything, and they have like their own separate responsibilities too. So they're basically like the most important students at the school is what it boils down to.
Like the way I sort of settled on it that made me actually understand it is the toilet is the president, and of the like 3 colleges you have the student council and the president of the student council. The president of the student council for the school is like the governor of a state. So the toilet basically liaises between the colleges and the creepy sister and like the teachers and stuff.
Yeah.
They're like the glue that binds them all together.
Yeah, they're like the mediator, and they have a lot of other tasks. It shows like other tasks they have, like in one of the episodes we didn't watch, the main character is like failing her French class, and it was Shizuma's like duty as that to like help her, like tutor her basically to pass. Yes, duty. Alright, anyway, back to summaries.
Okay, so I've been avoiding talking because episode 18. So, time skip, 17 episodes. We cut to a red-haired girl and white-haired girl walking through the autumn forest, and all the leaves are brown, but the sky is not grey. They're having thoughtful, short dialogue about meaningless shit, and then they sit down to have a gay picnic together. And they're like, oh, it's a shame the long blue-haired girl, who's the one who tied up and measured redhead in the first episode. I'm not telling you the names, I don't know what they are. She was originally going to go on the picnic, I believe, with redhead girl, but then she gave up her spot because she knew that red-haired girl wanted to go with white-haired girl, because white-haired girl has some sort of backstory that red-haired girl desperately wants to know, because red-haired girl is interested in white-haired girl, but long blue-haired girl is interested in red-haired girl. So there's like I don't think she loves me, so like I just want to make her happy. So like, okay, you like, I won't go on this picnic, you go with white-haired girl. And we have white-haired girl who's just like, oh ho ho ho, ara, I love you, you're mine, sort of thing, because she, like, again, in the first episode, basically met red-haired girl in the forest against a tree, and then after that, when going through the school the entire time, red-haired girl's like, oh my god, I'm in the school, and then white-haired girl just walks in the room with all the students and then just points at red-haired girl and is like, you're mine. I'm gonna hold you. And everyone in the school's like, and redhead girl's like, what the fuck's going on? I'm gay. So episode 18. They white-haired girl's like, wow, this whole forest is on the premises of the college. On the premises of not the college, the house, the premises that they're staying at. And she's like, so it'll be just you and me. It's like there's no one will interrupt us. Like it's just an intimate moment between the two of us. And then the white-haired girl's like, we've got to run, because oh no, it's starting to rain. So they start to rain and run in the rain back to this house that they're staying at. And then they get there and they're out of breath and covered in water. And they're like, and white-haired girl's like, hey, hands red-haired girl the key and is like, here, you open the door. And red-haired girl's like, I'm holding a picnic basket, but sure, I'll put it down and take the key off your empty hands and unlock the door for you. She's not like that, but I like to think that if she was in her right mind, she would have said that. She was having a gay moment. They open the door and go inside, and they're like, "Oh wow, we made it! It's wow, the rain's beautiful. Hey, wait here, Red. Well, because the power goes out as well. Because, fun fact: this isn't just any normal house. It's actually Castle Dracula, because the lightning strike is basically the same that would be in like a cheesy horror, sort of like, you know, with the whole
Yeah.
like that type of, it's the exact same sound effect.
It really, really, really is.
It's amazing. So the power goes out and Whitehair's like, oh, you wait here, red-haired girl. I'm gonna go turn the tub on. And red-haired girl's like, whoa, oh my god, it's dark and I'm gay and oh, and then white-haired girl comes back and is like, thank you for waiting and worrying about me. Here, you use this bathroom. I'll use the shower upstairs, and then I'll tell you my dark story. Ooh.
Bum bum bum.
They both have a shower, and neither of them move in the shower. The camera just pans around them as they're standing frozen. And it's like, oh, okay, they're both showering. And then white-haired girl looks at a photo of her and someone else, and then puts the photo frame down because she's sad. She's like, oh no. Red-haired girl's sort of standing there looking out the window in like a dressing gown, like a bathroom robe dressing gown, post-shower Victorian era dress. You know what I mean? And she's like, oh wow, rain. And white-haired girl comes up to her with tea, and then Red's like, wow, boobies. She's really pretty. And so then they drink the tea and have a lot of slow gay pining. And White's like, okay, it's time I tell you the story that's been set up this entire anime. I had a previous lover, and her name was
Cowrie. That's one of my favorite lines.
A lightning
It's
strikes
so
right as she
fucking
says her
good.
name. It's
Her name.
great.
It's literally her name was Cowrie,
Yeah, it's
and then then
Cowrie.
Nagisa just like, oh my god, there's like horror music playing. It's so fucking weird. I'm like,
Well,
what is
the
this?
other thing is, like, earlier in the episode, they were, like, talking about how nobody was around and stuff, and it was, like, absolutely setting
Yeah,
it
it's
up
like,
as a
is she
horror
gonna
thing.
kill me?
God.
Yeah, it's like almost like all you had to do was like change some of the music and like color grade it a little bit differently, and this
Give
could have
one
been
of
a
them a
horror
knife.
episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't even need to actually animate anything different. You could have edited this to be a horror movie, because like the way Red looks around at things, she looks terrified
Yeah,
and
it's
nervous about
true.
things in the house. So you just need to like darken it, zoom in on her a little bit, like put some horror sing, like that violin that's like. And then boom, horror episode.
Mhm.
So anyway, she's like, okay, her name was Kaori. Also, this was her bedroom. We were in love and I wanted to fuck. And she's like, but she's dead now. Yeah. Did she also mention that she was the other toilet? Or was that I don't remember if she mentioned she was the other toilet, but she's the other toilet.
Yeah, she was the other toilet, but then she got dead, so then she wasn't the other toilet.
Yeah, so that's
anymore.
why there's only one toilet, which is white-haired girl, because the other toilet died. The other toilet's pipes broke.
Yeah.
So White like slowly raises her hand up red-haired girl's in front of her, sort of up her body, and like starts stroking her hair, and she's like, "But because of you, I can finally get back to normal." And then she's like, "Wait, no, you should. I'm gonna change. I can't be in these clothes. Like this is too intimate. I've got to be in something better, not something more comfortable. Just something more appropriate." And then like she goes and she's like, "Oh wait, the power didn't go out yet. That's right." She's like, "I'm okay." She goes to like basically say goodnight, and she goes to sleep in her own room. She's like, "It's okay. I can control myself. I don't need to be with red-haired girl. Like I can be alone and steward my depression. And oh god, the power's out. I need to be with her now."
No, she was saying that she could move on from Cowrie, not that she could be.
Yeah, she can move on from Cowrie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's moving back now, and she's like, "Okay, I'm back. Hi, redhead girl." And redhead girl's like, "Oh wow. Oh no, white-haired girl puts her hand back up again to redhead girl's hair, and then lowers it towards her chest, and is like, "Wow, nice hair." Tits, and like pulls the looks at the key that's around redhead girl's necklace, and then it turns into a red jewel, which, as we've learned now after watching the series, was the necklace that the other toilet wore. And then lightning strikes, and redhead girl turns into the other toilet, Cowrie, and white-haired girl's like, "Oh god, my old lover, I'm depressed, I can't do this," and she falls over crying. And redhead girl's like, "Oh," and white-haired girl's just like, "Oh, she died. I can't handle this. This is too much. Thank God you're here though. Like, just, it's okay. I'll be fine." And redhead girl's just like, "I can't handle this," and then runs away.
Yes.
Fucking hilarious.
Yeah, that's like my favorite like funny scene from the whole series. Like, this girl is literally like, "Oh, like." Nagisa's like, "I love you, Shizuma," and Shizuma's like, "I am deeply traumatized because the girl that I was dating and like my first love and stuff like died a couple years ago. I'm gonna cry now." And then Nagisa's like, "I'm gonna leave you on the floor. Bye."
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like
so
amazing.
Redhead girl runs outside in the rain towards the cliff. And she's like, "I'm sad." And wow, it's a lovely cliff. White-haired girl follows her and is like composed now, and she's like, "It's okay. Like, I'm okay now. Like, I'll comfort you, redhead girl." And redhead girl's like, "I can't handle this," and then runs back inside. And white-haired girl kind of stands there for a bit and is just like, "What the fuck just happened?"
Yeah.
She didn't say that, but like, again, I feel like if she was more composed, she would have thought that. But she was having a gay moment and also a trauma moment, so more things were prominent in her mind.
Gay trauma moment.
Yeah.
Also, the second that mood. The minute that redhead girl walks inside the mansion, by the way, the power comes back on. Wow, okay. White-haired girl is like, "Oh, I don't know how I feel anymore about things. Like, should I regret what I did?" sort of thing. And then we cut to the next day. White-haired girl wakes up in her bed and goes to check on redhead girl and sees that she's gone. Oh no, she's gone. And we cut to redhead girl. We cut to long blue-haired girl and professional blue-haired girl, who was the president of one of the student councils of one of the college, I believe. Who's wears a suit a lot. They're at the front steps and they're like, "Oh, redhead girl, you're back!" Like, "Oh, it's how was it?" Like, "Oh, happy to see you." And they're like, "White-haired girl," and she's like, "No, she's gone." And they're like, "What?" And she's like, "Oh, also, I'm gonna faint now." And then she faints, and long blue-haired girl's like, "Redhead girl, redhead 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 girl,
Yes.
redhead girl." And then the episode ended.
Yeah.
Yeah, she never learned her name. She just called her red-haired girl through the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
God damn it. Okay. Last episode time.
Okay, episode 26. It's a brand new anime intro where everyone's naked. But it's now winter, and we're worrying about an election for the best toilet. We also see two other girls being gay as fuck, and Protag being sad and emo. Something about lining up for voting and being in the Harbingers Club. White-haired girl is prepping for something while dark blue-haired girl comes in to talk to her. Hey, blue-haired girl, would you brush and braid my hair for me like, you know, you used to when you loved me? Or whatever the fuck. And she's like, okay. And then more girls doing shit and preparing to support their candidates. Shout out to unrequited love for one another, while Evangelion Ray picks me up for a date. We need to seriously figure out who the new toilet is so we can be lesbian friends together. Two girls we see sitting on the bed for a bit talking about the election. They're like, and then it's time for the election. And look, wow, all these candidates for the most gay award. One is a prince and a princess who literally are just Saturn and fucking Neptune switched.
Yeah.
And, like, literally one is princely and has, like, the teal hair and is wearing a suit and is taller than the other. And then the shorter one is, like, blonde and reserved and, like, flowy, wavy hair. And it's just like, are you fucking kidding me? Time to hand everyone flowers and to try to figure out who the winner is. Oh. Blue hair girl is like, stop looking at my fucking girlfriend, white hair girl. Like, what the fuck? And then white hair Protag just, like, stares at her and then kind of leaves and goes off into the snow. So Prince Chick picks up her princess and everyone goes, woohoo! Woohoo! And then white hair girl we see has gone to a greenhouse and is thinking about a date she had with transfer student. And now it's time for the dance competition to figure out who's going to be the toilet, because apparently that's how you fucking decided.
Yeah.
White hair protagonist goes to stare also at a tree for a little bit, and then she's like, and then all that's left is voting, so we really need to find white-haired girl at this point, who's currently missing her transfer student a whole lot and runs off to the election because she's like, that tree told me so. And then she comes to the door and she's like, I object to this wedding. And they're like, transfer student, Protag, transfer student. And then let me walk towards you slowly and menacingly and then say, I love you. Finally, and you can literally pause and see the moment that blue hair girl's heart instantly breaks. It's great. And and then she grabs transfer student and goes, go to her. And she like takes the ribbon back from her that she gave apparently in an earlier episode, and they're like, okay, it's time to steal you away, and then the two of them run off from the election, hee. For some reason, dark blue-haired girl is kind of upset about it, but then she's like, oh, white-haired girl. And then, oh god, please stop running, I'm so fucking tired, I'm literally in high heels, what are you doing? And she's like, well, I had no plan, so do you just want to keep running? And they're like, yeah, sure! And then a new toilet is announced. And it's the Sailor Moon twins, and they get lovely
Lord Buckethead
matching necklaces. One's red, one's blue, and they're gay together. And then on the other hand, our girls are making flower necklaces and then fucking the grass. And then there's a scene at the very end where at night where the transfer student comes home and she still has to go to sleep in the same room as her ex-girlfriend. So that's the
anime. They were never dating. It was just awkward.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, Strawberry Panic is a show that I have a lot of feelings on. I used to love it when I was like 13. And part of me still loves it now. And I think that it has the stuff that I think my biggest issue with Strawberry Panic, right, is that I think there are a lot of things that it brings up that have the potential to be, like, really fucking good, to talk about and to, like, explore, and instead they just kind of go with weird soap opera-y vibes, and I'm like, can we not do this, though? Like, you have good content sitting here in front of me, and instead of showing it to me, you're giving me, like, 17 fucking love triangles, and It's like only
Mhm.
two of the romance. Well, no, sorry. I guess technically like four of the romances matter. We'll talk about. I'll get into which ones, but it's like only like four of the romances really matter. There's all these side characters that have feelings and stuff, and it's like this isn't important. Cut this out. Don't even have these characters really even be characters, and just give me the content that's interesting. And I don't like main girl. Nagisa, I think, brings down the series big time. And I think that her being the focus brings down the series big time. Because she's like a character where nothing interesting's like happening. It's just the events that are happening to her that are interesting, but it's like she herself as a character isn't interesting.
You just want to kiss White Hair Girl, let's be real.
I do want to kiss White Hair Girl.
Who doesn't?
Yeah, but so the only romances that matter, obviously, Nagisa and Shizuma. It's the main fucking point of the series. Like, the series is about their romance mainly. The Reverse Sailor Moon characters, and then Nagisa's roommate, her feelings towards Nagisa, and then obviously the Shizuma and the dead girlfriend. Like, that's an important relationship. But aside from those, it's like, I don't care. Like, there's like a whole thing where like the maid girl kind of likes Nagisa, and it's like, I don't care. You know, there's like a whole bunch of little like just intertwining romances where it's like this fucking web, and it's like, you have this interesting fucking story of a girl who has went through a trauma of losing her first love and is trying to learn how to grow past that, and is trying her best to forget about it when it's impossible to forget about it, and is like just trying to figure out how the fuck to move on with her life. And it's like, that could be such a good fucking I think it should be 12 episodes. I think a 12er would be fine. Because like I said, I do think the relationship, I think building roommate girl and Nagisa's relationship is important. Because there is a chunk at the end where you think that's going to be endgame. And like, I think that while I love Shizuma dearly, I think she's my personal favorite character. I think the best written character is Nagisa's roommate. Like, especially
the way she sort of just like instant, like the way she reacts in the final episode.
Yes.
I kind of agree. Out of all the characters I've seen, like she's the best one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then I think that the other two, like the two that end up becoming the toilets, I think their relationship is also important, but not as important. Like, I think it should be present, but not, like, necessarily a focus. And I think you could cut it down to 12 episodes nicely and have it work out. Because there are just, like, giant chunks of episodes that are like, okay, but why do I care? Yeah, I want to talk about Blue Hair Girl a little bit, though. What's her name? It's like Tamal?
Sailor...
Tamal.
The Sailor Scout one?
No. Her roommate.
Oh, the roommate.
Yeah, I do want to talk about her in a minute.
Real quick though, I feel like you've perfectly touched upon why I don't like this.
Yeah.
Because they had a really good opportunity to have that deep sort of like story about like those specific topics, or dive, like, not even dive really deep, but like have like actual emotional storytelling, or like things happen not just because, well, something has to happen in an episode, or oh well I have to tell the story, but like consequences of it, like you can't just get over an old lover dying,
right?
Like you can't like have like tell the story about that, but instead the entire show is just surface level like relationship stuff, and it's like it's not even like it's like not even popcorn flick, like
right.
I wouldn't call it like a popcorn anime. It's like licking the popcorn maker clean of the grease and butter. It's like, yeah, it tastes nice, but it's like you could get so much more by having like some nice popcorn, or like having something more substantial, at least like a hot dog at the movie instead. Like they had an opportunity, but it's all this surface level spread out.
Yeah, it's like
thin.
surface level drama and like I said, very soap opera-y. Like there's a million characters, they all have their own fucking issues. Like I said, in the last 5 episodes, the Sailor Moon looking girl with the short blue hair, like there's literally a plot point in the last 5 episodes where she falls off her fucking horse and gets amnesia and forgets her partner, like her partner toilet girl. And it's like, why is this here? Why are we throwing every fucking trope that we can into this? And I was talking to my friend about it earlier.
Whatever happened to predictability?
yeah. I was talking to my friend about it earlier, and we were talking about anime from this era, like, almost being too anime. And I think this falls into that trap pretty hardcore, where it's like, it is too anime. Like, they were just like, here's all these tropes, here's all these things, let's do it. And yeah, it just ended up being just, like, the surface level, like, okay. You know, and, like, I think it's really showing, too, with the writing, when, like I said, like, Nagisa, like, leaves Shizuma crying on the fucking floor and runs out, and then Shizuma finds her, and she's like, I'm not good enough, and it's like, no, this moment isn't about you. Like, it's not about you being good enough. You. And she talks later on about how she wants, like, her relationship with Shizuma to be something that neither of them ever forget. And I'm like, but you're wanting her to forget about the girl she loved before that died. And it's like, okay, like, what is happening here? Like,
it's like the equivalent of, like, if you think about it for more than, like, 5 minutes about the relationship, it's like, oh, after that wedding scene, it basically is The Graduate. They have the moment of like, oh, we did this impulsive thing because we love each other, and then they sit there and they're like, what did we just do?
Yeah.
Why did we just do this? And then like a week or a month later, they break up because like the impulse and sort of the surface level isn't enough to sustain anything.
Right. Like...
And like, because Redhead Girl does not seem to actually care or actually, you know, be in love with the white-haired girl. She's more just loved with the concept of the white-haired girl.
Yeah, but it's like that when they made this anime, they didn't realize that's how it felt. Like, in this anime, you can tell it's definitely supposed to be like they are meant to be together. But red-haired girl just comes off so fucking poorly written, and I'm like, please,
exactly. And
like,
I think like I'm not like absolutely hating it because it's not like the same one you've seen every time, where it's like the male protagonist falls in love with the girl that he has no chemistry with, and they get together not because they actually love each other, but because they are meant to be together.
Yeah.
Like, it's basically that, but it's by degree of being different and at least attempting to tell it in a more substantial way. Failing, but attempting to tell it in a more substantial way. It's like, I don't hate it for that specifically. It's the root issue that runs through the entire thing that becomes the problem for me.
Right. But I do want to talk about my favorite scene in the series, which I need to talk about, Tamao.
Is it where the bear kills everyone?
Yeah, with the bear kill. Yeah, during the commentary, Gam just kept talking as this fucking character, stuffed animal bear, telling her to kill everybody. It was great. But so Tamao, which is the roommate, long blue hair girl who's in love with red hair. Yeah, so it starts off in Tamao's like obviously like the, oh, hee Nagisa, you're so cute, you're my roommate. And like from there, her feelings start to blossom into like actual feelings for her. But she's also like a good friend and is aware that Nagisa likes Shizuma, but is also aware that Shizuma kind of like plays around with girls typically. So it's like this kind of interesting, like, she's like, hey, be careful, like, don't get too close to her, watch out. But it's not out of, like, it's not because she's like, because I don't want you to go out with her instead of me. Like, it's like, it comes from a good place, actually, right? Which I like. And
she actually cares.
Yeah, and it's like, there's not this, I feel like in a lot of series, right, there would be a moment where she's like, you have to pick. You pick either her or me, you know, and that never happens. Like, she's like,
thank God.
totally aware, right? Like, she's trying to pursue Nagisa, but she is aware that that's probably not going to happen at the same time. And my favorite scene from the series, earlier on in the series, there's like a moment where she has to leave for a few days or something to go visit family, and she knows that Nagisa's going to be left alone in the school, and that Shizuma is going to be there. So she ties a red ribbon around Nagisa's arm, and she's like, here, this is for you. This is so, even though, like, I'm away, I will still be close to you. Like, this is a reminder that I am here with you, whatever. So in this last episode, when they're getting ready, because Nagisa and Tamao are running to be the next toilets too, they have to wear a green ribbon to represent their school to show that they are, like, running to be the toilet, but Tamao also ties the red ribbon in with her hair that represents, like, we are together, basically, like, I am with you. And during the ceremony, Shizuma, wow, sorry, I am tired, bursts through the door and confesses her love to Nagisa. And Deer mentioned this. You can see Tamao's, like, Tamao knows what's happening, right? And you can see her heartbreak in that moment as she grabs Nagisa and is like, hey, go after her, and then shoves her away. And my favorite part of the whole fucking series is as she pushes her away and she pulls that ribbon, it inadvertently pulls out the green ribbon that's in her hair too. And that green ribbon is what they have to wear to, like I said, to represent their school for the competition. So it's like I don't know. I watched it and I was like, that scene was, like, too good for this show. Like, pulling out the ribbon that's like, you are with me, like, you are mine, and it inadvertently also pulling out the other one, as in that moment, you know exactly that, like, you know they lost.
You know what the thing that gets me about all of that is? It's not just, like, that scene is too good for this anime. That character is too good in this anime, for this anime, and that feeds into why she's so good, and why she's too good for this anime, because, like, a character that good still isn't the protagonist or focus or even gets a happy ending. And it's like I don't want to give them credit for that, because I don't think that's what they meant, and if they did mean to do that, they basically abandoned everything else in the show to do that. And that is like, that's like essentially one person writing a story and then getting so hyper focused on a side character that they just, like, oh yeah, and then the protagonist marries the love interest and goes away. But this side character has their own cafe now, and they're like, they have their specialties, which is this, and this. And it's, like, very clear that they had a favorite. And it's like, why didn't you make the story about them then?
Right. But yeah, so then there's that. And then she's like, congratulations, and is obviously very sad herself. And then you get the very ending scene where Nagisa comes back, and she's obviously hesitant about going into the room. And Tamao has been just standing in the dark room on the other side of the door. And what does she do? She welcomes her back home. It's not like, there's no moment of her being like, I resent you for not choosing me, or like, this is going to be weird. She's like, no, welcome home. Basically, like, I accept this and I'm happy for you. And it's like, what the fuck, man? Tamao's such a well-written character. Like, I don't know. I don't understand what happened there. Like
she deserves better.
Yeah, and
she does.
There is a manga and a light novel that came out prior to this, and I remember that things were changed for the anime, and I kind of want to go revisit to see if the writing is actually better. Like, to see if they, like, kind of fucked up anime only shit. I don't know. It's, like, just fucking wild that there's this one character. I mean, Shizuma's, like, pretty well written. It's just that the issue with Shizuma is that she's an insanely interesting character in the series, but the whole time they play her off as, like, she's this mysterious girl, and it's like, you don't get to know her at all because of it. Like, she's like...
Yeah, and also the only times that, like, we saw her specifically, the only person she has to play off is someone who isn't interested in her, except, like, you have a backstory, I want to know your backstory. And it's like, they don't, like, red-haired girl doesn't actually care.
Yeah, it's really weird. Red-haired girl is supposed to be so head over heels in love with Shizuma, and it doesn't feel that way.
It feels like she has a short crush or infatuation.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you meet someone and they completely sweep you off their feet, and for like a week or so, you're just like, wow, I'm in love with them. And then like after that you cool down and you're like, okay, it's like, no, I'm not actually in love with them. It was just, that sort of short, impulsive, like, feeling was like, mistaken.
Yeah, and that's what it feels like. It's so weird. But yeah, so it's like Shizuma's like this really interesting character, but they play her off as like the mysterious kind of fucking hell.
Unobtainable.
Yes.
Or unattainable.
I just can't say it for some reason. They play her off as that, and it's like, if you wouldn't have done that, she would be such an interesting character. But instead you were like, oh, we have to make her, like, seem like this really cool, you know what I mean? Up until, like, the last minutes of the last episode. And it's like, but why? Why do you have to do that? Like, why does she just have to be, like, either sad or cool and that's it? Why can't we, like, explore her even more so? And it's just kind of irritating, yeah. But I said I had a lot of words to speak about Strawberry Panic. There's my lot of words.
Right.
Yeah, if you wanna watch a series that maybe isn't the best, but really is a classic when it comes to the genre, and really was like really changed. I don't know, like it influenced a lot, right? It influenced a lot of lesbian anime. Then check it out. But it's not really all that great overall.
Listen,
is what it boils down
Happy
to.
Pride.
Happy Pride. Oh yeah, it's Pride. So we watched classic
I feel like I feel like personally, if this was the mid 2000s and we were doing this, I would have been like, watch this.
Yeah.
Because it would have been like one of the only like good gay pieces of media, like not just good, but like the only gay pieces of media that doesn't, trivialize or make comedy out of the gay or crucify
and it's
the
like
gay.
it's like it was like one of the first things where the focus of it was the relationship, because there were a lot of series where like the background thing, like there was like a subplot of romance, but this is the first thing that was like, no, this is about the relationship, not the first, but one of.
So I feel like what I agreed with you up until you said like, oh, so go back and watch this if you want. I would wholeheartedly disagree and say there are better things you can watch that like nowadays have built upon what this was the foundational.
I agree.
And like,
I'm saying more of, if you are curious where things kind of got their start.
For a historical context. Like, if you want to go to Rome and look at the Colosseum.
Yes, yeah, then watch this. Same thing.
Watch like
this is the lesbian
first
Colosseum.
and last episode, maybe.
Yeah, honestly, first and last. You don't even need to watch episode 18 unless you want to watch like some gay pining.
But if you watch episode, it might be episode 12. They make out in a pool, and then Shizuma touches Nagisa's titty. It's kind of cool. By the way, their first kiss happens in a super dramatic way too, where Shizuma accidentally pushes Nagisa into a pool and falls in with her, and then they kiss under the water, and I'm like, but why?
So
anyway.
Anything else you want to say about it, dear?
Nah, I'm good. Lesbian's good.
Lesbians are good. Someday we'll watch better lesbian shows. Well, we already did watch Madoka, but we'll watch one where the focus...
We watched the best one.
Yeah, we'll watch one. We'll watch a good one where the focus is the relationship.
So how are you
Someday.
feeling about this,
Yeah.
Cam? Where would you put it? I'm at like a 5.
Okay.
It's fine. I don't want to watch it, but it's fine.
I put it in the context of like I'm going back and forth in my head of like either a 2 or a 4 because like I'm gonna say a 2 with an asterisk that just says it's a 2, but historically it's like really significant and like it's not a 2 where it's like I didn't like this and I don't want it to exist. It's like I didn't like this because now, because of it, there are way better things. And going back and watching this it's really fucking boring. Like there are moments where it's like I would be enjoying this if it wasn't like it's essentially. I think the best way I can describe it in the way I'm viewing it and thinking about it is like take a really good lesbian narrative. Okay, now you've got that. Now I want you to select it all, go to your effects tab, now hit speed, and then hit change it from 100% to 10%, and then hit play. It drags.
Yeah, there is a lot of dragging.
Slowly,
also, I want to say
to the point where
go ahead.
When things happen, you're not like, oh wow, this was shocking. It's like, oh, something finally happened, and it's not from a point of like, oh, I'm excited this is happening. It's like not a, oh my god, she said the thing. It's from a point of, oh, cool, something actually happened now. I can actually start paying attention and like caring. Whereas, that's why I say if this was like 6, 8, 12 episodes, I would probably give it a 6 or a 7, or maybe even more if they really cut it down well. But right now, 2.
Yeah.
I never want to see this ever again.
I want to say really quick because I keep track of the anime, the rankings that we give shows, and I want to say GAMs.
Mm-hmm.
So many of GAMs are like this score in parentheses, but this if.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I mean, that's
so
because
funny. Yeah,
putting everything on a binary is so hard.
It's just so good.
When it's
like I'm looking at it right now. It's like Komodo Friends 2 in parentheses because of Grape Coon, and it's like it's just different things. It's like really fucking funny. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like the parentheses mean different reasons. It's like for that one, it's like it's a 2. If Grape Coon wasn't in it, it would be a 0.
Yeah, I like.
Whereas this one, it's a 2, but if it was like cut down, it would be like a 7 or an 8.
Yeah. Yeah, I put 2 asterisks and then in parentheses 4 because historical. Like, it's like, I don't know what the fuck.
Yeah.
Great.
Anyway, fun times. We'll see you next time when we watch Strawberry Panic 2, Revenge of Percival, where the teddy bear kills the toilets.
Strawberry Panic 2. Percival vs. Inferno Cop.
Yeah, there we go. It's also Inferno Cop 2.
Take the shot.
Kill them all.
Take the shot.
Cleanse the college of sinners.
We have a shot ceremony. We take 2 shots.
I don't have a scary voice. Okay, bye.
You just have a squeaky voice. Oh,
Goodbye.
bye.